Alright guys, in this video I'm going to explain to you exactly how you can sign your first high ticket client in the next 7 days. Okay, essentially there are some requirements that are needed though in order to actually do this from today and 7 days at the end of this challenge. Number one, you need to have an existing high ticket offer. What is a high ticket offer? Essentially, a service based business or a service that you sell for anything between 1.5 and 6k online. This is targeted at online personal trainers. High ticket offers can range from 1k all the way up to six figures. But for this exact video, we're going to go over how you can sign your first client, your first high ticket client in the next 7 days. So the requirements are existing high ticket offer. So you have something to sell online, which costs anywhere between kind of 1 to 1.5k all the way up to 6k. You have at least 300 followers on Instagram. You have a basic understanding and knowledge of sales when it comes to a DM setting process, as well as also then a closing process and how you're actually going to close a prospect on a sales call. And then on top of that, you have 5 hours available every single day over the next 7 days to dedicate towards this challenge. Lastly, this is a bonus, but you have a basic understanding of how a profile funnel works. So essentially how you take a viewer into a client. And we're going to run through everything now. So to start with, you need to be aware and you need to understand the levels of awareness and how they play a role in terms of your content strategy, but also what you're going to be posting day in, day out. So we have awareness, interest, consideration, intent, evaluation, and purchase. These levels of awareness feed into the funnel type and the content that we're going to be posting over the next 7 days. When it comes to content, there's three main funnels. So it's top of funnel content, it's middle of funnel content, and it is bottom of funnel content. These all play a really important role, and without one of these, your entire acquisition channel and system that which you want on Instagram is going to fall apart, because that's what makes up the funnel. So essentially, let me get a drawer on. Can I? Bear with, guys. I'm not a very good Mario board user, but we have our top of funnel, we have our middle of funnel, and we have our bottom of funnel in terms of levels of awareness. So when it comes to top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel content, I want you to think of it as if you're a fisherman. What do I mean by that? So top of funnel content is all around reach. How can you spread the word about your personal brand online? For example, in fishing, it's like casting a net. It's trawling. You don't know what you're going to catch, but you know that if you don't cast a net, you're going to catch nothing. In terms of a football analogy, it's also like saying if you don't shoot, you don't score. And that is the sole purpose behind top of funnel content. It's getting your name out there, it's posting, and it's seeing what lands. And then, if we want to make it relevant to our levels of awareness and how we can relate that to the funnel of which you want to be posting content, it's very much similar. So the people that watch your top of funnel content, they'll likely not even know that there's a problem. For example, if you're a fitness coach who has the ICP of helping men aged 35 who are busy working professionals drop body fat, build muscle without sacrificing their lifestyle, they might see your content and not even realize that there's a problem, but go into your profile funnel and further kind of find out why. The other aim of casting the net is to spark interest, is to create some curiosity and get them to go onto your profile. And then as well, it's just to make people realize who you are, what you're doing. Because people would likely have seen the transformational you before, but not sure exactly what it means. And that's the whole kind of aim around top of funnel content. It's casting your net, it's getting reach, it's increasing engagement, and it's getting your name out there. What does the top of funnel content actually look like? So in terms of what I would focus on over the next 7 days, it'd be getting out your My Story. It'd be getting out Den Lives. It would be sharing beliefs and interests outside of business. So what makes you, you? What makes you relatable? And you can do that through a lot of different ways. Your My Story videos, your Den Lives, transformation videos. For example, for me, sharing my story of where I am now to where I was 18 months ago at university, still trying to pursue a career in rugby, to now getting injured, flipping that time and using it to build this business, learning high ticket sales, and now building this consultancy agency where I help online fitness coaches scale. That's my transformation. That's a really broad scope and a broad video that anyone can watch and learn something about me, as well as has a very big reach. And essentially, guys, when we're focusing on top of funnel content, you want to create for your dream follower. So what does that actually mean? So when it comes to content, I want you to think of something called your TAM. So your total addressable market. Essentially, imagine you've got a big circle here. That's your TAM, your whole TAM. That's the whole of social media. Then inside that circle, you have your dream follower, okay? So that's someone that's likely going to be interested in your services, interested in your common beliefs, in your takes, in what you do day to day, that share interests with you. But then inside your dream follower, you're going to have something called your ICP, your ideal client profile. Now, these are the viewers that are going to go from viewer to high ticket paying client after entering your profile funnel. So when we think about top of funnel content, we want to post to our dream follower to ensure that we're giving that piece of content the best performing chance to increase our reach, which is going to be super, super important in this 7 day challenge. The other really important thing we need to think about is when we only create content for our ICP, we give it a ceiling. We don't want to do that at the start. This is going to be a sprint. This is a 7-day sprint to sign your first client. Then, middle of funnel content. So that's essentially, in the fishing terminology, when we go through the nets, we go through the thousands of fish that we've caught, and we actually find the good ones. We find the ones that fit our ideal client profile. For example, again, we'll go back to the 35-year-olds, busy working professionals wanting to drop body fat and build muscle. This example would be, you'd go through the engagement you've had from that post, whether it be comments, whether it be follows, likes, saves, shares, DMs, and you'd figure out who fits your ICP to then further push them down your sales cycle. Again, there's no way of creating content and only producing it to your ICP, but there's a way in which we can create content and have systems in place, then filter out the good leads from the bad leads. And middle of funnel content, you need to ask these questions, or you want to be making the viewers ask these questions themselves when they're on it. So I need to fix this, but they don't know how. You want to make them think, I have a current issue, but I don't know how to quite yet get out of that current issue. Then they'll probably be thinking, I've seen a few coaches like this, why choose him? And that's when your top of funnel content becomes really important. If you're an online fitness coach, one of the most important videos that you can have pinned on your profile is your unique mechanism. Guys, in 2026, people don't buy fitness, they buy the feeling. They don't buy the course, they buy the coach. Your story, your unique mechanism is what's going to make you stand out from every single other coach online. Then we go into... a lot of these viewers will think, I'm not ready yet, I'm not sure if this is the right time for me to do this. And that's how we can create content. Guys, there's going to be branches off each of these points and each of these levels of awareness that you can pull on when it comes to actually thinking about how I post and how I target these people through this funnel of content. For me, one of the best ways that I do this through middle of funnel content is creating slideshows. It's Twitter-based slideshows, it's storytelling whilst giving value, or as well it can also be reels. But for example, for me, my ICP, so my ideal client profile, they're online fitness coaches, they're online PTs, they're PTs who may be working in person and want to move fully online and build that lifestyle and be remote. So I will then target them and give much more informative and value-based content around it. But what does that actually look like? Examples of this: value-based content, educational-based content, masterminds, for example, are a fantastic way to give value whilst also positioning yourself as an authority. Calling out your ICP. For example, if you can create a post or reel where you simply outline, you call them out directly. So if you're X and experience Y, do these 5 tips. Put into the example we used earlier, if you're a 35-year-old busy male working in finance and struggle with energy crashes at 2 p.m, do these 3 tips to avoid that. Very simple way to call out your ICP and make them feel heard. One of the number one things alongside your unique mechanism that you can do is speak to your ICP in middle of funnel content. What does that actually mean though? Like, how can you directly speak to them and make them feel heard through your content? Because that's what's gonna nurture them and make them follow you and really build up that relationship. Second one is breakdowns. So again, breaking down your unique mechanism, breaking down your program, breaking down certain nutrition, training tips, and kind of the more informative side of things. Again, do not be focusing on these too heavily, as people, especially now, the way I see personal trainers going and really scaling is all through storytelling, unique mechanism, and standing out and being very much, well, owning a personal brand, not just being someone of value. Again, when you think of middle of funnel content, you also want to be producing and creating for your ICP. Then lastly, we get to the bottom of our kind of awareness scale, and it's all around purchase. Bottom of funnel content. So this is when you take your fish and you sell them at the market. You're having DM conversations with them, you pitch them a call, they book it on your calendar, and then you close them on the spot. But what level of awareness and readiness do they need to be in? They need to be very much kind of already sold, essentially. Like, these people, it's in terms of the awareness chart and the awareness levels, it's going to be around 5% of the market, if that. But your job is to nurture them a long time through story sequences, through posts, through long form, and essentially your whole kind of content ecosystem and omnipresence. So what does it actually look like? They might come to you saying, how do I actually join? This might be through story sequences. This might be through applying to CTAs from certain reels that you post. They might ask much more informative questions. For example, like, what do I actually get? And essentially, your whole job of bottom of funnel content is to give them every single reason to purchase. Okay, so for me, when I was starting out, I'd do breakdown videos of some of the biggest online personal trainers on Instagram to show my audience I know exactly how they're scaling to 6 figures. For example, Jack Lowe, massive online personal trainer in the space. What did I do? I made a video breaking down his offer, his positioning, his messaging, his content, and his sales framework, and how he has a 6-figure a year plus business. And what that does is, regardless of if I've worked with him or not, it shows that I have the knowledge and the know-how to actually get someone to that point. Again, fantastic examples of this are, in this next 7 days, go to your existing clients and get client testimonials. Record a Zoom with them. If you can, meet them up in person and record a sit-down kind of interview. Ask them about the experience they've had working with you, the results they've had working with you, the transformation that you've been able to take them on from when you started to where you are now. Then kind of like live raw breakdowns and audits, much like what I did, but you could, if you don't have clients yet, you could go and audit people in your space who are your ICP. You could make up a fictional character. For example, Matt is 35, is 5 kilos overweight, is drinking 2 nights a week, has no energy, has no routine. Audit his lifestyle, make a breakdown on it, because then what you're doing is you're calling out your ICP, you're showing them that they have a problem and you're providing a solution. And that's the whole way I want you guys to think about content. Oh, that's my bad spelling in there. Right, but controversial opinion as well. Bottom of funnel content, create for your pipeline. Guys, if you have an existing pipeline of clients, create content that would close them. For example, sales and marketing go hand in hand. Any objection you get on a sales call, any regular language that you are receiving and getting in your DMs, turn into content, flip it. It's the best kind of market research you can get because it's the one chance you get to actually speak to your ICP. Cool. Then we're going to go into the actual 7-day plan of action. So if you've made it this far, that is how I want you to think about content. These are some of the requirements. Any questions, feel free to shoot me a message on Instagram and I'll get back to you. But essentially, 7-day POA, 7-day plan of action. So you are going to be posting a minimum of 3 times a day based off these 4 content pillars. Now, normally I wouldn't recommend posting 3 times a day in terms of a real standpoint because you'll give your audience fatigue. They'll be like, okay, well, as much as they may like me, they might think, okay, Rory, I really like your content, but I've seen you 3 times now. You're starting to piss me off. But if your sole purpose is to close a high-ticket client in the next 7 days, we need volume. The reason we need volume is because volume gives us data, and data allows us to make informed decisions to scale. So what are the 4 pillars of content that we need to be focusing on? We need trust-driven content, we need educational-driven content, we need personality and nurture, and we need value-based content. Again, those will all tie into your top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. But as a point of view for the next 7 days, we should probably be focusing, I would say, 70% on top of funnel, 20% on middle of funnel, and 10% of bottom of funnel on our reels. And then on our stories, that's where we just go ham on client testimonials, client wins, very much middle of funnel, very much bottom of funnel. And that's how the profile funnel will work in terms of relationship between reels to stories over the next 7 days. Guys, the other thing as well, we've never had more opportunity to grow and to put our names out there than we do now. Guys, again, my poor spelling, sorry. But post your maximum amount of trial reels daily. You're going to be posting 3 reels a day to your main feed. Then I want you to post your maximum amount of trial reels daily. So what can this be? If you have existing top performing videos, recreate them. Change the adjustments on them. Change the speed, add filters, add a different text hook, put it in 1.1 speed, put it in 0.9 speed, cut the start of it by 0.5 seconds, cut the end of it by 3 seconds, add a CTA. Like, trial reels are free ads. And I think people use them wrong. A lot of people use trial reels to A/B test. That's fantastic. That's great. Do it. In my opinion, the best way to use trial reels is if you've had a winning concept on Instagram, it's going to work again. So just recreate it, spin it. Guys, I posted 9 trial reels in 1 day. That brought 10K views to my account from non-followers and 30 plus ICP leads into my profile funnel, which I can then convert through a landing page in VSL, my highlights, my 3 pinned posts, and regular stories. As well as, not to mention, sending inbound messages to them and trying to get them onto a book call through my DM setting framework, which will go through below. Like, it's that simple. This is kind of your rule of thumb. So it's 3 posts, it's maximum amount of trial reels, and then a minimum of 30 new conversations a day to your ICP, which leads to 210 conversations over the next week. Sorry. What does that do? That increases your lead flow. So not only are you posting more to increase your engagement and eyes and get people through your profile funnel, but you're also starting conversations and speaking with 210 potential clients, prospects over the week. Then, those are your rough metrics I want you to be hitting. I mean, look at this, guys. That's just 9 in one day. These are the rough metrics I want you to be hitting over the 7 days. And then what does it actually look like from a day 1 to day 7 standpoint? So day 1, guys, have all your back-end systems dialed in so you can track lead flow, you can track your pipeline and your content performance. Data allows you to scale predictably. The whole reason you're probably watching this video is you don't know when your next lead is coming in. The whole reason I'm making this video is I know how to build you a predictable revenue system, and that starts with understanding your numbers, because your numbers allow you to scale at a predictable rate. So, for example, what does that look like? I want you guys to track your views. I want you to track, if you go on your Instagram analytics, you can see what videos are bringing you in the most followers. You can see what videos are bringing you in the most ICP leads. Again, Instagram have made it a bit harder, but spend some time doing this. On top of that, you need to be tracking your outbound and the conversations you're sending. Why? Because then we can see what's working. What's a good DM opener? Where's the conversation going dry? Where are we losing the call? Are we pitching calls too early? Are we not pitching them soon enough? Once we have this data, we can then make informed decisions. And over the 7 days, it's going to be really crucial that you have that in place. Then day 1, it's going to be really important to implement a landing page and VSL, or simply have a link in your bio driving traffic to a long form asset. If you don't already have a long form asset, a VSL landing page, make one. It will take you a day. You can build one on Claude within like an hour. That's how I built all of my assets. And then in terms of like actual long form nurture, if you don't know what to do, talk about your unique mechanism or talk about your story. Just sit down for 15 to 20 minutes. And what this does is it allows the audience to be further nurtured by you. But on top of that, it acts as a really good pre-call asset to further nurture leads once they've booked in a call. Day 2, you're going to run a story sequence. So I have a very clear story sequence SOP. If you want this, send me a message on Instagram and I'll send it over. But we want to be ripping a story sequence pretty much every day. Again, you wouldn't normally do this, but you have 7 days to sign your first high ticket client. So client testimonials, client wins, a start here, a my story, give some value. We just want to absolutely pepper your stories with undeniable proof that you, not only can you talk the talk, i.e. your reels, but you can also walk the walk through your client testimonials. And that's really important. How you construct them as well is also really crucial. So any questions on that, let me know and I can send you over my exact SOP on how to build out story sequences that convert and have you signing clients in 7 days. We want to run a clear CTA. We'll have some soft CTAs and harder sell CTAs over the 7 day time period. Then guys, day 3, you would have anywhere between 60 to 90 DMs that you would have outbounded to. You would have posted 9 pieces of content. You would have maxed out your trial reels, and you would have also been posting on your stories frequently. We should start to have some traction. We should be leaning in to closing some deals and getting, and most importantly, calls on your calendar. So I appreciate I've not gone over how we do that, but here's a really quick, brief framework that we can go over. And again, I'll make some long form videos of this in the next weeks, coming weeks, but it's really important that you have a basic understanding. So DM framework, very simple. Opener, goals, problem, trust and authority, qualify, interest, pitch. Essentially, that is the framework you need to use to take someone from entering your profile funnel, from liking your reel, to get them onto a book call. An opener. No opener should look the same. Reply to old story highlights. Make it relevant to what information and what you can gather from them. Make it relevant. If they've liked a post around your overnight oats recipe, make it relevant to that. Saw you liked my post on this overnight oats recipe. Do you want me to send over kind of my breakdown of how I meal prep it? Something along those lines. Spark the conversation, lead with a lead magnet, lead with personality, and always lead with humor. Guys, too many people see DMs as transactional the whole time. It's not. It's a conversation with a person. Stop thinking you have to follow a framework. You have to follow a script. Doesn't matter. If you lose a lead, what does it matter? They weren't in your pipeline anyway. It's one person, okay? But just learn quick and follow this loose framework to ensure that when they're on the call, they're qualified, they have money, and they're actually interested in your services. Because the last thing we want to do, yes, it may look nice that you have 12 calls for your coaching services tomorrow, but that means nothing if none of them are qualified. Then you've just wasted 12 hours of your day as a business owner, as a CEO, when you could have been working on the business, you could have been fulfilling clients, you could have been creating content to sign more. And there's no point. Then sales framework, my bread and butter, really simple. Why? Get their why straight away, their North Star. Why are they on this call? Why are they seeking your services? 2, how long have they been wanting to achieve that North Star, your services? And again, if it's been a year, pull them up on it, keep them accountable. So what's kept you this long? Then we go into trigger, which is essentially the accountability phase. So understanding if it's been 6 months and they've wanted to make the change, why haven't they done it so far? And then position yourself as a person that can help them get out of that rut. 2, doubt, then solution, desire, essentially then your goals, 6-month goal, 12-month goal, the impact it will have on your life, cost of inaction, what will they look like if they don't move forward? Again, I'm going to make a deep breakdown on how you guys can be closing high ticket deals, but I always want you to think about your sales call as like a dopamine cycle, okay? You start as a bit of nervousness, we go with their North Star, whether that be a 6-pack abs, and putting on 5 kg of muscle, getting a personal best at High Rocks. That's their peak level of dopamine. You crash it down with their accountability and why they haven't achieved it, and then you bring it back up by providing and positioning yourself as a solution, but also being that kind of North Star for them, understanding their goals, where they want to get to, asking how it's going to feel, bring it down to cost of inaction, commitment, transition into the pitch, and you just ease it out nicely. Then we'll have a 3-step pre-call process. Guys, make sure you're writing notes on all of this, but essentially, boys, what it will be is create a group chat on WhatsApp. We want to remove it off Instagram. We don't want to have just one way of contacting them. Also, if on WhatsApp we have them and they don't turn up, we can hammer their phone in terms of voice notes, video notes, and calling them. Follow a pre-call sequence. What do I mean by that? So send over a message outlining date and time of the call and expectations of what you want them to be. So, for example, in a quiet area, you have 45 minutes to dedicate to the call, so you protect your time. Then 48 hours before, 24 hours before, and 1 hour before, send reminders. In between that, send video notes, voice notes, and long-form assets to nurture them. We want to ensure that we have no sales resistance on the call. So be a human, cracks and jokes. A lot of these guys would have been watching your content for a long time. You automatically have authority. They're automatically interested in you. So make sure you keep that. Then, guys, regular rule of thumb is collect at least 40% upfront cash of the deal. So let's say you charge $2,000 for a 6-month coaching program and they want to split it up monthly. That's fine, but you're going to extract 40% of the cash on that call. Quick maths, that's $800 you will extract from that call. And then the remaining 1.2 can be split up over 2, 3, or 4 months, depending on what their finances look like and how you want to work with that. Why do we do that? 1, the higher the price people pay at the start, the more committed they are, which makes them easier clients for you. You get better results and you work with less clients. 2, it just means we extract the most amount of cash. Cash flow is king within your business, and it's so important, and not enough PTs do that. They undervalue their services, they undervalue their time, and that means their clients do the same. You need to ensure, and the best clients you have will be the ones that pay the most. And if you don't believe that, guarantee you, pitch this and you'll see. And again, look, if that means your close rate goes from 50 to 25%, so be it. But you've probably tripled, if not doubled, your cash collection on first call, as well as your revenue. Day 4, guys, use live feedback to make fast adjustments. Use live feedback to make fast adjustments to marketing and offer positioning. Redefine your ICP if you need to, shift your content, shift your volume, shift offers based on data. Guys, after day 4, you have 12 reels live. You'll have your maximum amount of trial reels. Look for outliers, because outliers, as I said earlier in the video, they'll work again. Double down on them and do not finish. Do not think that if you've posted it once, it won't work again. Keep posting it until it stops performing. So double down on outliers. If something's worked once before, it'll work again, whether that be a DM opener, a reel, a story sequence, a carousel, whatever it may be. Then, day 5, 6, and 7 is all about rinse and repeat. Do this every single day. Every day for the next 7 days, you are just locking in. My tactics to rinse and repeat are 1, ice Americanos. 2, weirdly, I'll do 4 hours of deep work in the morning. And what does that look like? So I will gym in the morning, first thing. I'll sit down in the coffee shop or gym lobby, depending on where I'm working out. I'll do an hour to 90 minutes of undisrupted work. No music, no headphones, nothing. No phone, just me and work. Then for the remaining time, I'll put on a boiler room set, some house, because for me, I don't know why, but I can work to that and I like it, I enjoy it. And when I have enjoyment, I find working so much easier and doing tasks that I wouldn't normally enjoy easier, such as sending out outbounds, such as building out a VSL, for example. And then the other thing that you need to start doing, I do every single morning, is meditation. Meditate every single day. It allows you to make more informed, calm decisions. It means you don't react on emotion, and you're much less reactive throughout the day. So if on day 4 you haven't signed a client, you're not blaming yourself, you're not blaming externals, you're thinking, okay, let's look at this data, let's make an informed decision, and let's lead and let's move the needle towards signing a client. And then lastly, guys, don't let your non-negotiables slip. Gym, eating good, sleeping 7 hours a night, and spending time with your loved ones. This isn't the be all and end all. This is a really good way for you guys to, over the next 7 days, have a bit of a sprint in terms of your business. Set a goal, set some boundaries, set some cadences. Look, guys, if you found this video useful, I'll leave my Instagram in the bio. Feel free to send me a DM, ask me any questions regarding content, offer, pricing, packaging, landing pages, VSLs, signing your first high ticket client. And if you're really serious about scaling your online coaching business, I'll also leave a link in my bio to book a call. All the best, and I will see you in the next one.